Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I'm your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. Just 11 days left of this month, and bam! It's May. Blink, sleep, and it's gone. Quite interesting social media today. Um, I have talked till I'm blue in the face about sports wagering specifically. And once in a while, I'll vent on social media. And, people put in places where they don't belong. People put on big stages and big platforms. People have the blue check mark. And what they say is respected and trusted, and we all bow down and believe. Well, when ECSI decided to go public 8 years ago, there was a reason behind it. There was the thought process of being able to look beyond the trees and say, hey, sports wagering is going to become legal. Let's get ahead of it. Since we've been in the business now for over 35 years, why not talk about it? Why not talk about sports investing, not gambling, because I still haven't used that word. And I will not use that word, gambling. I feel with proper bankroll management, with the proper sources, I feel you can make a second stream of income. I do. If you can go and blow all your money on Bitcoin and these whatever coins, Doge, whatever, it's a dream, it's a myth. It's like I'm going to become a millionaire overnight. Where myself and Scotty, we sit here and we grind. That's what we do, is we grind and try to turn bankrolls, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. It's like investing in stocks. You want your portfolio to go up 5, 10, 15, 20%, however far you want it to go. Well, today, Woj drops a bomb. The one that we respect, that talks about the NBA trades and all these big stuff going on. And we respect Woj like we do Shefty and all the other guys with the big check marks and the big platforms. Well, Woj is talking about Kyrie flipping the bird to the fans. And Woj is talking about how the fans might have had money on player props, on who would score more points. First of all, Massachusetts isn't legalized. Second of all, my friend Jeff Benson, who we hope to have on this week at Circa, is laughing. Woj don't know shit about gambling. Yet he's respected enough to say, hey, Jesus, maybe Woj is right. So every time you went to a game in the last 40 damn years and someone booed someone else, I guess they had money against them. It's part of the game. And now that sports gambling is legalized, every missed free throw, every error. Why don't you go back to the 5th inning today in the first 5 Arizona-Washington? There was an error with 2 outs that would have ended the inning, and the opposing team would have won the first 5. Well, after that error, there was a hit, and then the other team won the first 5. But I guess maybe Marte had the other side, and he did it on purpose. Because that's what people think. When we miss an extra point or a free throw or whatever, it was done on purpose because it's now all linked to gambling. And we got such a long way to go with this. We really do. But, again, as I told Jeff Benson, and as I'll say it again, people have been gambling since the caveman. Where there's a will, there's a way. There's always a barbershop. There's always a local pub, tavern. Go down to the North End, go down to Federal Hill. There's always people willing to take action, okay, guys? So please don't believe everything you read or hear. Enough from me. Let's bring him in, Mr. Scott T. Webb. Afternoon, Scott.
Man, isn't it great to have opinions on shit and then be able to go put your money where your mouth is?
It's just comical. Listen, I respect Woj. I like Shams. A couple of years ago, we were at the in Vegas for a week. I think it was the World Series of Poker. I was out there. I brought the family, and we went over to UNLV for the NBA rookies and the summer league. And Shams walked by. I said, "Hey, can I get a picture?" I talked to him for about 10 minutes. Great guy. And I respect him more than Woj. But now you got Woj talking about Massachusetts and gambling when we haven't even legalized it, and he doesn't know his ass from his elbow when it comes to it.
Sounds like what was that guy's name? Al Leiter, I think. When they were talking about this stuff being legalized in baseball, and oh my God, they're going to start gambling on whether you're going to throw a strike or a ball, and then this and that, and he doesn't know his ass from the hole in the wall, and it just shows. And we've been talking behind the scenes about, hey, I think it's great. Major League Baseball networks putting lines up on their ticker parade that goes across, and
you mean spreads?
Yeah, spreads. Let's just put it this way: they're putting their odds up there anyway, and I like the idea that it's getting recognized that way. What I can't stand is the national media getting involved in the business per se, and they don't do what we do. And I guess that's a wrong way to say it. That they don't cover the sport the way the sport is going to be covered in the next 5 years. And I'm telling you, what you and I do are what is going to happen with everything everywhere in the next 5 years. In the next 5 years, maybe even faster. The world is going to cover sports based on lines, numbers, odds, spreads, and the intricacies that go into how those things covered, didn't cover, happened, didn't happen, and what matters to winning football games, baseball games, basketball games. The entertainment value will change to how it covers numbers.
And it was said last week or the week before on social media, there will be no such thing as sports content anymore. It's just going to be all gambling content. And as these guys are building bigger platforms and creating these shows, and now adding the crawler with the in-game lines 30 seconds into a game, and yada yada yada. So anyways, we had two games going on. Final, Washington beats Arizona 6-1 as the Arizona
go bet on Arizona in the second game. Then
Arizona Diamondbacks hitting woes continue. Top of the fifth, San Fran with Cobb up 4-1 against McGill. I just want to add this. We leaned San Fran yesterday before the rain out. Got off of them today. I did like the edge with Cobb and San Fran. But here's the comical part, guys. Mark this down on your calendars, too. As soon as this game goes final, and if the Mets do lose this game, watch the steam on Scherzer. Oh, my God. Scherzer and the Mets in game 2, because, of course, they're not going to lose 2 games in a row. They're not going to get swept. We know that, especially with Max on the mound. Yet, he's now currently 122, 124, 125, 120, 123. I'll just make a note here at 440 that he goes off at least at minus 130, Scott.
Well, he was 119 out of a 1030 show. So he's up $5. And if this game continues the way they're going, I think he's going to at least be 130. It's interesting because, like the first game today, they got a little gap now between start times, so they got a little rest in between, and they don't have any in between time between the Giants and the Mets. I mean, they're going to flip right around and start playing the next game, half hour, 45 minutes after the game's over. So that's really a true doubleheader. So I would tell you that you're going to see probably lineups change a lot in that game, and maybe not nearly as much in the first one, the Arizona-Washington stuff.
White Sox Cleveland postponed again.
It snowed there.
It snowed. Nice, nice. Good. Another day off for Bieber. Thank you very much. Everything else seems to be the same. I talked about Aiden as the starter in game 2 for Washington versus Gilbert. And I have Ellis now versus Irvin against Oakland. And just a little FYI, everyone listening here, there is some COVID issues going around with the Red Sox. I think a couple people down in Pawtucket, now Worcester, excuse me, Worcester, uh, tested positive. I think maybe a coach. And Christian Vasquez has tested positive. And a note to all the fantasy players out there and the Red Sox as they head to Toronto next week. Tanner Houck is not vaccinated. So any Red Sox that is not vaccinated will not be able to travel to Toronto.
Well, that scenario is a 2 weeks out thing. So they have to have the second shot, or they have to have the full one from Johnson and Johnson or whatever, and they have to have it within the 14 days that they enter the country. So if they don't have it within those 14 days, they can't go. So it's not like, okay, shit, I got to go play in Toronto next week. I'm going to go get this shot so I can go play. They won't let the I guess the way they see it up there is the vaccine doesn't take hold for a little while. So anyway, that all being said, there's going to be this home field cooking thing for Toronto that way all season long. So it is what it is. But teams already know about this. This isn't something that snuck up on anybody. And, theoretically, no matter what you believe in terms of whether you need to get the shot or you don't, I'm not a political guy. So it doesn't matter that part of it. The rules are the rules. So if you can't go and you can't play, then they better get somebody's ass up there that can go and play. So I think every team will go through some of this to a degree, depending upon what that degree is.
So I think with Vasquez and a few other players testing positive, what is the protocol?
Plawecki tested positive.
Yes. What is the protocol there? Do they need 10 to 14 days, or do they need just a couple negative tests to be able to get across there? Or since they have tested positive, Toronto will not allow them to cross the border?
Oh, I don't think you're allowed to go into Toronto with COVID-19.
No. I'm just saying if, let's just say that for the weekend, Vasquez is tested two negative tests.
If they get tested positive and then they test negative, then there's no big deal. So theoretically, the way this thing works is when COVID-19, you get it. Most people today are not symptomatic. Most people just, okay, I got it for some reason. Can't really tell I even got it. But because you have it, it's very contagious. So they want you to quarantine because of the contagious part of it. The other thing is that once you have it, the truth is that the CDC guidelines are it takes 5 days. And once you're done for 5 days and you're vaccinated, and you got to be vaccinated, it can't be the other way. But if you're vaccinated and you still got it, you quarantine for 5 days and you're done, because it's still going to show in your system after those 5 days. So you will still test positive. The problem is, or I shouldn't say problem, the issue is you're not contagious anymore. You're not going to spread it out to everybody. So ideally what they're trying to do is get all this stuff worked out. And that's the way businesses work today is that if you're vaccinated and you have it, you got to go sit for 5 days and you can come back off the bench and go play. So theoretically, it would be a similar scenario for Major League Baseball or any other place, other than I think that they're calling it a 10-day COVID leave. But it doesn't have to be 10 days. It's a matter of it's just like Alvarez last night. That son of a bitch popped up on there and started playing baseball games, and he wasn't supposed to be off the damn COVID list for 10 days. So that's the issue. The issue is that, you test negative, boom, you're out there playing.
I don't know what the policy is. I'm just curious. It's none of my business, but if you have that answer, because Tanner Houck is not vaccinated and cannot go to Toronto, is he getting paid for those 3 or 4 games? Okay.
He's not. That is That is the rule. The rule is that if you decide that you're not going to go follow the rules, so to speak, then you're opting not to get this shot. That's a personal choice, and you're allowed to make that personal choice. But because you made that personal choice, it doesn't mean the team can't. The team still got to go there, and that means you're opting not to go with the team. And because you're opting, and it's a personal choice, you don't get paid.
All right, I'm going to go back to the well with Don Best. Again, for anyone that was not here during the bankroll or did not check my timeline and thinks that I'm here, whatever. The VIPs started the week 0-3. Yes, it does happen. We are human. The reverse sweep last night did come into our playing fields. I think we had some bad luck on one game and wrong side on the other two games. I mean, I guess that's what I'm going to say. Kind of comical. I will make a mental note of those three games. Usually, what happens after a reverse sweep is you go 2-1 or 3-0 on those guys the next day. We haven't released our games yet. I've been combing this board, Scott, and I'll be honest with you. Some tough matchups, some tough weather.
It ain't easy, is it?
No. And I sent the picture out about Fenway Park, dead center to right tonight, 12 miles an hour. I'm a Kukuc fan, and same with Evaldi. I think Evaldi's going to be able to, get some people, mow him down. But as this game progresses, neither bullpen scares the bleep out of me. So it's going to be interesting how much length you get from Kukuc and you get from Evaldi. But that's just one game, and there's a million of them like that today.
Well, there's landmines out here everywhere. It's just a matter of how you step through them and what you analyze, right? So I happened to hear Mad Dog today, and he was talking to that girl he's got on there. What's her name? Alana. And they were arguing over some stuff, and it's just interesting to hear some of the viewpoints and some of the things some of these national media people think, and some of the things that they say. And he was just rambling. You know how he does. He gets the rambles and just doesn't want to hear all this other stuff. And he was just talking about the Yankees, and and then Alana got on and said, "I just refuse to believe that they're not a playoff team, and I refuse to believe that they're not going to go down the stretch and be in the playoffs." And I started thinking about that because I think a lot of people think that way. And then I remembered an article that I read last night from one of the writers, and he's a superb writer in New York. And he asked the question, is these 10 games of 20, and it's a good question, Jeff. I think it's worth an answer. Is these 10 games of 2022 a carryover of what 2021 was for the Yankees, where they couldn't hit and they were in there just because of pitching? Or is this a bump in the road, and this team's going to hit and they're going to be really good, and they're going to, win 95 games or whatever and make it to the playoffs? The way I look at that kind of stuff is, well, history says this is what you are. You were, and we talked about this on our pregame shows, pre-conference, pre-season games and stuff. The Yankees are one of the teams that didn't beat, and they didn't beat the teams in their own division. And think about this, that they have scored the fewest runs in the league, other than I don't know, I think there's one or two teams that have scored fewer runs than the Yankees. But think about who they've played, Jeff. They played Toronto, they played the Boston Red Sox, and they played the Baltimore Orioles. So they've played all three teams in their division and have scored the fewest runs in baseball. So you tell me that you think this team's going to be any goddamn good. I think this team's going to be terrible, because sure, they're going to get, Judge is going to get his home runs or whatever and all that stuff. But if you can't have an offense that generates scoring and you can't beat the teams in your own division, you're not going to win. You're not going to win your division, let alone get to the playoffs.
Quick question, and I already have the answer to it. So, how did you win the AL East last year?
How did the Yankees win?
No, how did the Rays?
Oh, well, the Rays beat the shit out of Baltimore, 18 out of 19 games,
They were 18-1 against Baltimore.
and they're 3-0 against them this year.
8-1. Okay. There used to be a rule in baseball. Go 20 games over 500 at home and go 500 on the road and you'll win the division. That used to be the rule. Okay. So if the Rays go 18-1 against someone in their division and they just go 500 against the rest of them in the division, there's a pretty good damn chance that they're going to win the division.
Sure. And so I look at that and I just sit there and go, okay, you're people, you have, how do I say this the right way? So when you're looking and analyzing things, don't look at what you think they're going to do. Look at what they've done and try to blend it with what you think they're going to do. So the Yankees have done well in any of these games because they can pitch. That's why. And people don't think they can pitch, but they can pitch. They don't hit. They don't score. They don't have they don't got anybody hitting 100 RBIs. They're just not that team. They don't get guys on base. They don't have that kind of structure. So what they're doing now, and then you hear the manager talk about, oh, I think this, and oh, I think that, and oh, I think you can stick that shit right up your ass because that's just stuff that's being said. Nobody is addressing the concerns that they should have, and they should be orchestrating a much better lineup structure so that they don't have all these 6'9" batters batting back to back to back to back to back, and then they get a base hit and they can't move to the second base even. I mean, it's ridiculous. But anyway, sorry, I got on a rant there.
NBA 3 games. The Mets must have hurt us. 4-3 now, still batting in the bottom of the fifth. So anyone holding on to any Mets first 5, they're holding out hope. Whoever had the over in the first 5, congrats, you're a winner there. I think you were already up 4-1. Anyways, the under over was like 7.5 or something stupid like that. So a 7, actually a flat 7. So you are already home there. 3 games in the NBA. Again, nothing looks appealing to me. I think Vegas has made a statement on Miami that they're going to win by 8 or more there. Surprised where Memphis opened at 7, now 6.5. Some sharp money. Think not the Wolves. I'm not saying they're going to win today, but they think that they're going to cover. Kind of sort of a must win for Memphis there. And again, Pelicans and Suns staying at 9.5. I think we've talked about this before in the NBA. Vegas afraid to get that to 10 because the sharps will come in there. Big board left in the MLB. A handful of hockey. Scott, take it away.
Well, and looking at the baseball games, one of the things that stands out to me right now is the Yankees, and this is a perfect spot to be betting on the Yankees, but I'm not going to do that because the run scoring ability that they have and how they go, it's not worth the dollars and putting out there if you're playing them first 5 minus 130 or something. And you got to remember, Detroit is a team right now that Javi Baez is not playing. So he's a big deal to not be in that lineup. So that's a significant edge to the New York Yankees today. Now that being said, if they don't hit a 3-run home run or hit 2 home runs in the first couple of innings, you might not get any scoring out of that team. So I don't like that scenario that well. I really liked Luzardo today, but I really wish everybody else wouldn't have bet on him or done whatever they did to get him to where they are, because I don't want to bet him as a favorite. I want to bet him as a dog. And I'm not going to bet him as a favorite, even though I think Luzardo is going to be He is going to break out, and he's going to break out in. I'm even going to say it this way. I think he's a left-handed 96, 97 mile an hour pitcher that has dynamic stuff when he's on. And he had been on in Oakland, and that's what they did. They got him for Starling Marte, and this could be the flip of the century for these guys, because he can be every bit of Sandy Alcantara or better, because he's left-handed. And I think he's just phenomenal. Now, that all being said, and you could get him at such a cheap price tonight, and the Marlins have been hitting the ball pretty well. I don't like chasing the money, and I don't like the idea that what do you call them, the public trending dog situation. Now they flipped to the favorite. That just doesn't sit well. So I'm passing on that game. I wish I could figure out how to get into the Milwaukee game, but I'm passionate on that one. Milwaukee's going to beat Pittsburgh. So if you want to go play the number, then play the number, but I'm not playing the number. I just don't think those are the right bets to make. I think I agree with you on what's going to happen here in this game. If the Mets do lose, Scherzer's going to get up there in terms of price, and people are going to be betting him like crazy. But I'm telling you, that Webb is a great pitcher. He's something else, that kid. And Tampa Bay starting Whistler, he's only going to go 2 innings at the most, so he is the opener. And then you're going to see Fleming, and Fleming gets hit, and he gets hit a lot. So the Cubs have been hitting the ball relatively well. So if I were going to do stuff, I wouldn't put my money on Tampa Bay today. Steele's been pitching pretty good for Chicago. I think that Houston game, I think Houston, this is a second series for these guys already. And the first series was 4 games. Houston won 3 games to 1. Now they beat them a first time already here. So they've won 4 out of 5 times against this team. And if you're going to be, we talked about this before, but if you're going to be in the division and you're going to try to make the playoffs, you got to beat the best in the division. And if you can't beat them, it's going to be a long road. So the Angels have to figure out how to beat the Astros, and then they got to start beating them here. Because I don't like the second series the way it's already headed. They weren't competitive yesterday. So, and then you got Archer and Hernandez, and you've talked about Archer a lot. I think Archer is not anything what he used to be, and even that used to be was a very short term. But Hernandez, I don't know if anybody knows who he is, but Hernandez is a relief pitcher. Now, he's a relief pitcher last year. He's not a relief pitcher this year. They stretched him out to be a starting pitcher, but usually those guys only last about 5 innings for the majority of the first part of the season. So if you like the Royals, I would only be looking at them in the first 5 innings. And then there's my game. I played one. That's it. Of all these goddamn games and the makeup games and the extra double headers and all the other shit that's out here, I played one damn game. I played the Philadelphia Phillies. I played them at minus 130 today. I'm on Gibson. I like Gibson. He's got some real good numbers and real good predictive numbers. And I'm going to use one of my my letters in the alphabet soup today. This is called XWOBA. Okay, XWOBA is different than WOBA, and WOBA is weighted on base percentage. XWOBA is predicted weighted on base percentage, and it's based off of StatCast numbers. And Jeff, you know how I feel about StatCast. I don't use StatCast very often, but StatCast StatCast measures where the ball is hit off the bat, the exit velocity, the launch angle, the swings and misses and stuff like that. So it's predicting the on-base percentages, weighted on-base percentage, because weighted on-base percentage, guys, I don't think you know what it means, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. So let me just explain what weighted on-base percentage is. Weighted on-base percentage is one of the most important and popular catch-all statistics in all of baseball. It's designed to measure a hitter's overall value based on the relative values of each distant offensive offensive event. So the concept basically is this: not all hits are created equal. Batting average assumes they are. On base percentage does too, but does one better by including other ways of reaching base, such as walks, hit by pitch, and so forth. Slugging percentage weighs hits, but not accurately, because a double is worth twice than a single. But in short, so as again, everything is ignored on a lot of different levels. Weighted on base percentage is probably one of the most accurate numbers you can use to describe a baseball batter. And now we have a way to predict that. And for a pitcher, we have a way to say, holy shit, this guy's going to control this lineup. And when you look at what his predictive number is against the lineup that he's going to face tonight, it is 0.212, I think. Where's my number? It's where is it? It's on here. Because I wrote it up that way. It is the predictive measure number is, I've got it right here, is 0.205. Okay, so think of it in terms of a batting average. If you're at 300 or more in a batting average, that's pretty good. If you're under 300, that's not as good. And if you're at 205, that's really bad. Well, that's good for a pitcher. So he's supposed to limit the guys getting on base. And then when you look at his statistics and numbers in Colorado, because not everybody can pitch there, he's done very well in Colorado. And then Freeland's the pitcher on the other side. And Freeland has pitched, I think, 4 times against the Phillies, and he's had one good game in those 4 tries. Philadelphia's got guys that aren't hitting, but 2 of them that are hitting is named Bryce Harper and Castellanos. So I do like the idea that those 2 guys can carry that team. I do like the idea that they can hit Freeland. Freeland is a left-hander, and so far at the beginning of this season, the Philadelphia Phillies rank 4th in all of baseball at hitting left-handed pitching. They are plus 151 on weighted runs created plus, which means they're 51% better than the average. So I played the Philadelphia Phillies minus 130 for all of those reasons. And I'm hoping that they win. So I stayed clear of all the other stuff. And I dumped the Robbie Ray game that I was looking at earlier, because we just said that the Philadelphia Phillies are number 4 in all of baseball against left-handed pitchers. Texas Rangers are number 1. So Robbie Ray's handled their team and handled their lineup very well, but they are number 1 against left-handed pitching so far, which is only 10 games in. But guys, 16 games in is 10% of the season. So that stuff starts to ramp up fast, and you got to make judgments. So anyway, there you go. That's my opinions on today's games.
Also, from our friend Jeff Passan, left-hander Kyle Freeland and the Colorado Rockies are in agreement on a 5-year, $64.5 million contract that includes a 6-year player option. Sources familiar with the deal told ESPN. Freeland is a homegrown player and Denver native and is staying home through at least 2026. So he will be whistling Dixie on the way to Coors Field tonight. A richer man on that side. And secondly, all Mets money line first 5. You have at least pushed all San Fran plus money or plus the hook is covering, but it is now 4-4. Bottom of the 5th with the Mets still batting. For myself, as I said, the VIPs, we have not released our games yet. Some interesting games. Scotty talked about Luzardo. I think we have him at +2 at 200-1, I think it was, or 300-1. I'm going to bring the numbers into the next show to win the Major League most wins. So we are rooting for Luzardo. Again, he is now favored in the first 5. If you wanted to bet him minus a hook, you can get +130 there. I'm going to stay away, though. St. Louis, Righties, Arenado, Goldschmidt, facing a lefty. Dangerous team. Rooting for Luzardo, though. As Scotty said with Cole, again, the easy way to get in there is minus the hook, minus the first five. And currently he is, where did they go? I'm looking over here. He opened up minus 130, now minus 145, which is still steep. And
So Jeff, so that game, right? He's as big as a favorite pretty much as Burns is in Pittsburgh. Look at the first five for Burns.
Burnsy opened at 165, now minus 180.
It's a big ass difference, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Vegas definitely making a stance that Milwaukee will be winning the first five by at least one, where they're kind of baiting you. Listen, if you woke up this morning and saw Cole minus a hook, first five, minus 130, you'll run into the window. Again, they're trying to attract money, and they did. It's minus 145. They ain't attracting my money. But when you woke up this morning, Burns was minus 165, and now he's 180. I mean, if you want to get cutesy, I said if, and I'm not here to promote them, you could do a two-team parlay, first five, Burns minus the hook and Cole minus the hook and pray. But I'm not here to promote any parlay. Arizona, Washington, no thanks. Again, I've been talking about this as a trap all day. It is now top of the 6-4-4, and it was more predicated on if San Fran won, watch them flock to Max here. I think it's a trap game, but what do I know? There. Kukuc and Evaldi. This game intrigues the bleep out of me. Sox coming off a loss on Marathon Monday. In come the Jays. 6-4 versus 5-5. Eileen Sox first five. You can get Evaldi minus 105 with the hook. Kukuc is minus 115 plus the half run there. I think it's going to go over the total. I do. I think the back ends are going to struggle. I could see a 4-4, 5-5 game type coming in down the stretch there. I think it does go over, though. We talked about Burns. You talked about Whistler. I think the Angels are sneaky here, first five with Sandoval. You can now get them plus the hook at even money. So some money is coming in on that side there. So I think that's the right side today. I think the Angels get to Valdez early, and I think you can sneak out a first five win with the Angels there. If you sent me $100 to bet on Archer, I'd send you 200 back via Venmo. I just have no faith in the kid yet. Not that he wasn't a great pitcher.
Jeff, I'm getting ready to send you $100.
And again, I just don't have any faith. And the same with the Royals. I'm just passing on that one. I agree with Scott on Gibson's side. Phillies first five. I don't want to mess with the bullpens there. And the Phillies first five plus 105. Actually, the money's coming in on Freeland, the new multimillionaire, which he already was anyways, there. I think Philly bats wake up, and I do like Gibson first five there. I mean, on paper, you're supposed to run to the window on Musgrove here. Minus a hook was minus 120. It's minus 140. I am staying away. We had Cincy yesterday. I am staying away there. Now, Atlanta and the Dodgers, Bueller and Fried. Atlanta opened up plus a hook first five, minus 120. Now it's minus 115. They got me yesterday. I think we're coming back with Atlanta here, first five against Bueller. I said I think I lean that for sure. We talked about Cole. We talked about Kukuc. I'm staying away from Irvin versus Ellis. I think it's more of a trap game today. Actually, Scotty, you're a smart man. Oakland is only minus 134 against the lonely Orioles. You're a smart man here. Who are they looking for money for?
Well, I will tell you this. Irvin, his last start was one of the best starts he's ever had, and he sucks. So he can get hit. I would tell you that 134 people are going to just go jumping on the Oakland A's because they've been playing pretty well. But I will tell you that I think that's the wrong side.
How's the Baltimore back end been?
Not very good. There ain't nothing very good about Baltimore. But it don't matter. You're betting. We talked about that on this morning show. If you're betting value, you bet the value and hope and pray that you get paid on it, because that's what you're supposed to be doing in Major League Baseball. But sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's more simple than that. Sometimes you just bet the best team. That's why I say like Milwaukee today there is, in my opinion, there's no way they're going to lose that baseball game today. There's 100% no way. Now I get it. Everything happens. Burns can go out there and he stub his big toe and shit. He's done after 3 pitches, and then you're all shit. Oh, holy crap! But there's some things that you start to look at this stuff and go, are you getting too cute? Are you trying to be creative? Are you trying to do this? Sometimes you just got to be straightforward and put it out there and go, this is it. And I think that's what I'm doing with the Phillies today.
The one hockey game that I'll talk about, I'm just looking up the puck line for you. The Rangers opened up at -200, -215. Take a look at the Rangers regulation. You should get it close to even. And on the puck line, you can get the Rangers, who opened up +125, now +112. So Rangers in regulation or puck line minus the goal and a half at +112. Any comments, questions, concerns? Hit me up on Twitter at EC Sports Invest. Hit Scotty up at Webby20MLB. If you want to join us on our new Discord channel, DM one of us or send an email to eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. I would think in another week to 10 days, we could quadruple in size. Hopefully our buddy Matt takes care of that end of that. But we shall see. And we have come to that time of the day. So Webby's words of wisdom.
So today's topic is going to be about tying in some of the things that we did the last couple of days. So this subject is going to be active listening. So I know that people have heard the term, and I know people think about it in a lot of ways, but what is it? What is active listening? Well, the main purpose of active listening is to be fully concentrating on what is being said and not what you will say next. Listening with a genuine desire to understand the speaker's perspective and point of views without placing any judgment. It also includes using nonverbal cues like nodding your head, put the speaker at ease so that the speaker can communicate more. So when you're listening, you have to have a purpose for why you're listening. A lot of people listen but don't listen. And I think it's disappointing because I don't know how many times I've spoken to people, and you can tell they're not really listening. They got other things going on in their head. And whatever you're saying is just not registering. And sometimes, not all the time, sometimes people have important things to say. And sometimes things that they say can mean profound things to the listener. But it's not the speaker's job to make profound statements to the listener unless the listener is really adept at listening. So the listener needs to be actively listening, properly evaluate what you listen to, and then ask clarifying questions and maybe even paraphrase if necessary so that you understand. Because we learned earlier that if you don't understand, that is a key function of failure. You're not going to be able to make a resolute decision if you don't understand what it is you got to make a decision about. In our world, in our sports gambling world, I've been talking about get involved, understand what is going on, get involved, right? Well, get involved means many things. And one of the things that you need to practice when you're getting involved is active listening. You need to work on those skills a lot. You've got to get to a point where you're fully concentrated on what is being said and not that what you're going to say next, because you've got to develop skill sets but also learn. Even if you're talking with someone and you're listening, your listening skills and you're nodding your heads and you're doing the things that are important are going to create a lot of things. One, it's going to get you into better networking situations for sure, because you're going to meet and greet other people and you're going to be like-minded and you're going to have great things to converse about. And then you can talk to each other about all kinds of different stuff. So networking is perfect for this business. The second thing, it's going to assist you in learning new processes or new things. But lastly, I think what it does is it opens up your mind, and it opens up your mind to creative thoughts. We have no way to win with closed-minded, one-way street thought processes, because this is a whole industry based on skinning the cat many different ways. So being able to understand viewpoints and options opens the doors for you to learn lots of different things. And I'm going to say it to you this way and wrap it up this way. You know, our world revolves around understanding the basic elements. Remember the basic elements that we got yesterday from reverse engineering of breaking down big problems. So our world revolves around understanding basic elements and being creative enough to apply them and use them properly and in the right situation. You will never be able to be accomplished in either of understanding the components and elements or being able to creatively use them without practicing great active listening skills.
Attention spans, listening skills. You know, when someone walks up to you and asks, "How are you doing?" and they're looking over here, and when you start to tell them how you're doing, they're just like this, and you know what? They're not even paying attention. But
You
that's
can
what the
see
world.
it.
That's what the world has come to. I was taught a good, firm, hard handshake, and you look someone straight in the eye, and I try to do that every day when I shake someone's hand or I'm introducing myself or vice versa. And I catch myself too. Listen, it's I forget which cartoon it is on TV. The wah 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 wah.
The teacher and Charlie Brown.
Yes, exactly. And that happens too often. And then nowadays with the doctors and everything, I talk about with you the alphabet soup, and it's the same with the kids nowadays growing up. For us growing up, it was, a good slap on the wrist with a ruler, and next thing you know, you were put into the corner, and that was it. Nowadays, they send you to a doctor, and then you come home with the alphabet soup and this, that, and the other thing. So good stuff as always, Scotty. Um, all right, so the VIPs, we hope to get off the schneid and start chipping away from our 0-3 start last night. Scotty on one game today. He is on Mr. Gibson and the Philadelphia Phillies. For all the VIPs, I will have the alert out pretty soon. Narrowed it down to a handful of games, and we will go from there. Anyone who has not followed us on YouTube or Twitch, it's at East Coast Sports Investors. Can you just do me a favor and Scott a favor? Just jump on, hit the subscribe button. It's free. We had a couple new followers on Twitch, and actually people on Twitch watching it. We're hoping to go live real soon on Twitch, myself and Scott, breaking down some in games as they're going on there. But anyone going to the window this afternoon, this evening, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There is an 800 number. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Scotty care. We'd like to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from Scotty Webb at Webby 20 MLB. We wish everyone a blessed evening. Have some fun with these games, cash some tickets, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.